I realize that I never even told you what to call me. I mean, if there's someone even listening, if there's even the right people listening, sorry. And I'm sorry for saying sorry. If you, whoever in the void else, stick around to listen, you'll probably come from nothing if... Sorry, I'm not an obsessive. Sorry, but sorry about that. It's just, I haven't really thought about my name in Lord have mercy, like a really long time. It's just always changed. I think the most terrifying thing I'm coming to learn is that you can forget your name before you're old enough. I don't know. And it's just how precious is a name. I never ever dreamed I'd even ask myself a question, I never dreamed I'd miss being called my name, or I don't know, even having one. Because I know what it's like to have had a name that you didn't hate, but you just didn't understand why it was a struggle for other people to pronounce. And I know folks who hated their name. They felt that it was too ethnic, and they were picked on by it. So I understand how that might make someone feel. Like, I think I recall having a white name, like very European. It's kind of oxymoronic when you think of white and European as separate. Sorry. Anyway. Sorry, I'm stalling and talking, but sorry. I'm talking a whole lot of bullshit. Sorry, Jesus. I'll put a coin in my swear jar if I had a jar, or coins. So my metaphorical, metaphysical swear jar, I just put 5 euro in. Never mind. We're not talking about metaphorical jars and stuff, I'm not used to talking to anyone but myself anymore, so let me just think about the last. We're not talking about that one later. Right! Shoot! Yeah, names. Names. If there really is anyone listening to all this, someone that isn't them, then I hope you cherish your name. I hope you cherish your name no matter what it is. I hope you cherish your name no matter how weird sounding it is to other people. If it was made to sound weird to even yourself, or how hard it is to spell or pronounce, trust me, cherish your name. Cherish your name and the good people who utter it. Because that stuff matters, who utters your name. So cherish it. So, names, going forward, you can call me that's a bonfire. You can call me Quirky. Yes, Quirky. I said last name. You can call me Quirky. Call me Quirky, please, if you don't mind. It's a nice name, and it's not so used, but it's not so special either. And Lord literally knows I don't ever want to be freaking special, right? Okay, Quirky. Quirky is me, and I hope if you are who you are, still, that one day I too will come to know your sweet name. I'd love to know your name. Makes you more real, makes the void more real. But, anyway, I was talking about names in the last transmission before, of course. But, there is a name that I think I can share. There is a name I can share. There is a name that I think you know, a name that doesn't care if you pronounce it well or at all. A name with many... Sorry. Almost cussed. One name, many meanings, but we'll start with the second meaning. The second meaning of that name. We'll get to the first, but we'll start with the second. And that name, that my automated scribes will better and more safely deal with, is Burlington. Specifically, Burlington Preparatory Boys' School of Excellence in England, between the Kent and Surrey countryside. Burlington. Yeah, that's a good place to start talking about hell.
I'm your host.
And I'm your expert, and I'm very excited for what we're getting into today.
Oh, same here. To start us off, I actually want you listening to just imagine a place for a second.
Okay, set the scene.
So you're walking down this immaculately clean, beige sandstone hallway.
Right.
The architecture surrounding you is, well, it's breathtaking. It's this dizzying mix of Baroque and Romantic styles.
Sounds gorgeous.
It is, but the detail that really catches you off guard is the scent in the air.
Ah, yes, the smell.
It's a faint, perpetual, and highly specific aroma. It literally smells identical to fresh espresso and vodka.
Which is such an intensely delicious contradiction, you know?
Totally.
Because you have this atmosphere of refined high society intellect, right?
Yeah.
And it's colliding directly with something that feels intoxicating, a little dangerous, and deeply visceral.
Exactly. And honestly, the contradictions only escalate from there.
They really do.
Because in this place, a typical student's schedule might include like AP Math.
Sure, standard stuff.
Right. But then they go master ancient languages and then head off to a mandatory seminar on how to survive a kidnapping.
Which is just wild to think about.
It's insane. And then if you wander into the older original sections of the grounds, the very foundations of the buildings literally groan.
Like they're haunted or something.
Yeah. As if the stone itself is harboring centuries of these, like, archaic secrets.
It honestly reads like an architectural fever dream.
It really does.
But the incredible thing that we're unpacking today is that this place is meticulously documented. I mean, down to its very floorboards.
Yes. So today's deep dive is into a highly detailed, utterly mesmerizing source document outlining the legendary and frankly slightly unhinged world of the Burvington Preparatory School of Excellence.
It's a completely exclusive all-boys boarding school.
Right, and it operates as if it exists in a parallel universe, just entirely detached from the rules of modern society.
Our mission for this deep dive is to explore that intoxicating allure.
The bizarre mysteries.
Exactly. We want to look at the mechanisms behind this elite utopia and explore how it seamlessly blends extreme luxury with genuine physical peril.
All to forge what it calls the modern Renaissance erudite.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the physical setting.
Because you really can't construct a bespoke reality like this in the middle of a bustling city.
No, definitely not. The environment itself has to act as a barrier to the outside world.
Isolation is the foundational requirement here.
So where is it exactly?
Well, Burvington is located in the rural, wealthy southeast wooded highlands of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
The source text actually describes the estate as being surrounded by acres and worlds of trees.
Wow.
Yeah. And there are these high hills and incredibly deep bogs forming, like a natural moat around the place.
So you can't just stumble upon it?
Not at all. The nearest town isn't just a walk away. It is miles and miles removed from the campus.
Right. And the document mentions that the founder, Sir Thomas Alexander Burvington, he wanted the students immersed in nature.
A very romantic ideal.
Sure. But it also wryly notes that being surrounded by dense, unnavigable forests and treacherous bogs makes it much easier to hide the school's more, pressing activities.
Which perfectly foreshadows the sheer peril of their daily schedule.
Seriously.
But before a student ever even sets foot in a classroom, they have to survive the psychological impact of the campus itself.
The architecture.
Yes. The establishment is split into two massive, castle-like structures that basically serve as sensory weapons.
Okay, so you step onto the grounds, and the first thing that hits you is the newer building, the senior atrium.
SA.
Right. And the document describes it as radiating a pure, light academia vibe.
For those listening who might be unfamiliar with that aesthetic, imagine pristine, luminescent beige sandstone.
Classical marble everywhere.
Right, and just an overwhelming sense of effortless, wealthy enlightenment.
Walking inside is literally likened to walking into the Louvre.
It's museum.
It is. And sitting squarely in the middle of the hall is this sleek obsidian grand piano.
Oh, I love this detail.
Me too. It mysteriously plays atmospheric sounds entirely on its own.
Because of course it does.
Naturally.
Yeah.
And every inch is designed to completely overwhelm your nervous system.
You have an open glass ceiling, right?
Yeah.
So that iridescent silver moonlight just pours directly into the hall at night.
There are painted murals of heavenly hosts gazing down from above.
Massive Swarovski chandeliers.
And again, that ever-present, totally inexplicable scent of fresh brew and vodka wafting through the corridors.
There is a remarkably telling anecdote in the text about this, actually.
Yeah.
About a visiting student named Alifa Ocean,
Oh, right. She arrived from a cousin's school in New York, right?
Exactly. So this is someone who is presumably very used to high-end facilities.
She's seen wealth before.
Right. Yet when she walked into the senior atrium, which she actually dubbed an Elysian stone monument, she was so entranced that she began running her hands along the walls.
Wow.
Yeah, the text specifically notes that her logic gladly took a back seat to her senses.
She was essentially hypnotized by the opulence.
That sensory surrender is entirely by design. But to fully grasp Burthington, you really have to contrast that glittering performative opulence with the school's other half.
The Elder Atrium.
Right, if the senior atrium represents effortless, enlightened wealth, the elder atrium is the absolute height of dark academia.
Oh, totally. We're talking rusting ivy climbing up deep brown brickwork.
Shadows, grays, blacks.
And an atmosphere just steeped in 1800s melancholy.
It houses the reconstructed study of the founder, Thomas Burthington, alongside these old laboratories designated for harsher chemicals.
Sounds safe.
Right, plus sprawling botany classrooms and this massive, seemingly endless library.
But the most unsettling detail isn't visual at all. It's auditory.
The groaning.
Yes, the text explicitly mentions a subtle, noticeable groaning coming from the foundations of the building.
And they've had engineers assess it, right?
Countless times, and no one can explain the structural source. It just possesses an eeriness that sits, quote, just under the hearth.
It almost operates like a diamond forge.
How?
Well, the senior atrium is the glittering, spotless showroom where you display the flawless final product.
Right.
But the elder atrium is the incredibly dark, high-pressure, slightly haunted furnace where the actual structural transformation of the boys happens.
That is a perfect way to describe it. And I actually have to ask you, listening, which building would you naturally gravitate toward?
Oh, good question.
Like, would you surrender to the silver moonlight of the senior atrium, or are you drawn to the groaning bookshelves of the elder atrium?
What's fascinating here is that the genius of the architectural design is that the source document explicitly states the two atriums do not compete.
They don't.
No, they're described as two halves of a sentence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, without one, the sentence falls flat. The architecture is a psychological tool. It's meant to be overwhelming and intoxicating because it needs to actively break down a student's worldly logic.
So it strips away whatever identity they arrived with.
Exactly, so the school can rebuild them entirely in its own image.
Which is kind of terrifying. But if these two massive, contrasting buildings are the mold, we really need to look at the exact shape of the student they're trying to cast.
Yes, the ultimate goal is the creation of a Burley.
A Burley.
That is the official term for a Burthington boy. And the mythology surrounding what it means to be a Burley relies heavily on the psychological enticement of becoming part of an elite, practically mythical brotherhood.
The language they use is incredibly archaic and romantic.
It really is.
They literally frame the student body as an order of knights.
Which goes back to the patron, Thomas Burthington. He believed every boy possessed an inherent propensity for good, brotherhood, and service.
So as a result, the school mascot isn't like an aggressive animal like a bulldog or a tiger.
No, it's an ideal.
Right. It's a knight named Sir Gaul, who represents valor, gumption, and power.
And that ethos is relentlessly drilled into the student psyche. There's an assembly chant led by headmaster Arthur Wentworth that perfectly captures the intense conditioning at play.
Yeah, it lists off a series of almost impossible standards.
A Burthington Burley is demanded to be, quote, a man of impeccable taste and refined morale.
As well as a man of exceptional candor and respect.
But the line that dictates the entire culture of the school is the expectation of calmness and ease in all situations and full mental control.
Full mental control.
That is the ultimate currency at Burthington.
And it's reinforced through something called the Ballad of Burthington.
Right, which the text describes as an unending, epic song echoing through the school's culture.
The specific verse quoted in our sources is fascinating. I'll read it. The Burley, knowing his internal wealth, will have no problem dining by himself.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the school isn't trying to produce perfect, quiet rule followers who care about social integration.
What are they trying to produce?
They are instilling an unshakable level of self-assurance. If you convince a teenager that they do not need anyone else, that their internal wealth is entirely sufficient, You strip away their vulnerability to peer pressure or societal norms.
Oh, I see.
You are building knights equipped with unbreakable psychological armor.
And the school maps that internal calcification visually.
Right.
Through the uniform.
Yes, the uniform progression is very deliberate.
When boys enter in years 1 through 3, they wear burgundy blazers with striped ties. It's colorful, it's relatively traditional.
But when they reach years 4 and 5, they transition to a stark black blazer, a white inside shirt, and a black striped tie.
The text literally calls this the visual transition from burly boys to burly men. Because the curriculum isn't designed to merely educate.
No.
It is designed to relentlessly test their survival.
The academic gauntlet is where this deep dive turns into an absolute fever dream.
Literally. So the school year is highly condensed, right?
Very. It's an intensive 8 months running from mid-August to late April.
And if a student manages to survive the full 5 years, their education is apparently so advanced they completely skip the first year of any traditional university.
The foundational premise of their education is that it's entirely bespoke.
Meaning tailored to the individual.
Exactly. The administration believes in honoring the individual gift of the student, which means financial limitations just do not exist.
So if a student shows an aptitude for law, they receive the greatest barrister training money can buy.
Right. And if the boy sitting next to him wants to be a carpenter, Burvington will source the rarest woods and the greatest master carpenters on the globe.
Which produces a class list that is staggering, odd, and totally bespoke.
You have your standard elite offerings, obviously.
Yeah.
AP literature, physics, economics.
Sure, but layered right alongside them are mortuary studies,
Yep.
ancient languages, intricate woodwork, and a class dedicated entirely to design fashion for gentlemen.
But honestly, the academics pale in comparison to the physical education.
Oh my gosh, the sports division. It completely defies modern safety protocol.
It defies logic.
Truly. I mean, you have fencing, rugby, and tennis, sure.
Yeah, standard prep school fare.
Right, but archery is mandatory. And not just aiming at a target in a field archery with fire is a mandatory physical requirement.
They also offer flamethrowing,
Flamethrowing?
javelin throwing while riding jet skis,
Unbelievable.
circus acrobatics, and tightrope walking. And for almost all of these extreme sports, there are blindfolded options.
We have to unpack the mechanism behind that because it sounds like sheer madness.
Why blindfold a teenager on a tightrope or on a jet ski?
Yeah, why?
It comes back to the core tenet: nervous system regulation.
Oh, interesting.
If the school can train a student's brain to remain utterly calm and analytically detached while they are physically blindfolded on a high wire, then a high-stakes corporate negotiation or a massive political crisis will feel biologically safe to them.
They're severing the human panic response.
Exactly.
Well, that perfectly explains the absolute peak of this perilous curriculum.
A hostage class.
Yes. There is a mandatory class for all Year 2 students officially titled Bothersome Hostages: What to Do When You, the Burly, Will Be Inevitably Inconvenienced by Kidnapping.
Framing a violent kidnapping not as a trauma, but as an inevitable inconvenience tells you everything you need to know about how the burly mindset operates.
And this isn't just theory either. The class culminates in an unsanctioned, highly realistic kidnapping final exam.
Our source details an unbelievable anecdote about this. About a student named Lawrence Bedfield.
Right. For his final exam, Lawrence's teacher orchestrated a scenario where Lawrence was locked inside an underwater crate.
Underwater.
Yes. And the teacher was actively utilizing psychological torture tactics against him while he was in there.
It is the ultimate test of that internal wealth.
Exactly. And Lawrence didn't just survive it, he weaponized his training.
What did he do?
He exerted such terrifying psychological dominance from inside that submerged crate that the dynamic completely flipped.
Wow.
Lawrence didn't break. His teacher was the one who broke.
You're kidding.
No. The teacher actually fled the testing site in tears because, as Lawrence calmly noted afterward, he remembered how easy a mind was to destroy.
That is a chilling demonstration of power.
It really makes you ask, I mean, is this a preparatory school for academics or a black site training camp for aristocratic super spies?
Given the evidence, it operates as both. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the justification for this madness lies in the data the source provides.
Right, the success rates.
Exactly. Despite the excessive danger and the bizarre academic freedom, or perhaps entirely because of it, Burvington boasts a 98% success rate in whatever field their students choose to pursue.
That's incredibly high.
It is. Furthermore, 89% of their alumni are documented as becoming positive public additions to society.
So the extremity actually yields results.
It seems to.
The intense peril forces the students to rely entirely on the mental fortitude the school installed in them. I mean, if you are locked in an underwater crate or holding a flaming arrow, your family name and your trust fund are utterly useless.
Right. Only your mental control matters.
Which brings us to the great paradox of Burvington.
The admissions.
Yes. For an institution that spares absolutely no expense to train teenagers in mortuary sciences and survival tactics within a multi-million-dollar sandstone castle, we have to examine who actually gets granted access to this utopia.
And the history of the admissions process is deeply problematic and messy.
Very. Sir Thomas Alexander Burvington, the founder who loved nature and envisioned this holistic knighthood education, he didn't actually retain full control of his own vision.
No, the ethos of the school was largely hijacked by his father, Martin.
Right.
And his brother, whom the text rather bluntly describes as a butt kisser.
Which is pretty funny. But yeah, Martin brought a stridently misogynistic worldview to the administration.
They successfully hijacked the family ethos and ensured the school remained an exclusively male domain.
And what's fascinating is how candid the source text is about this legacy.
It really doesn't attempt to PR spin its history at all.
Not even a little bit. It openly admits to being a tone-deaf, classist institution.
It even acknowledges that any rightfully male-hating woman would, quote, writhe and seethe with envy at the sheer quality of the facilities.
Yeah, and suggests that Burvington practically fuels the furnace of misandry. The document refers to the school as the modern marker of a dying elite utopia.
It possesses a startling level of self-awareness. Burvington knows exactly what it is.
It openly caters to the ultra-rich and makes no apologies for its exclusivity.
But, right when you think you have the school pegged as just a playground for generational wealth, the text introduces a massive structural twist.
Yes. Woven into this ostentatious, exclusionary history is a highly robust scholarship scheme called Hugo's Helping Hand.
This scholarship is a crucial piece of the Burvington puzzle.
So how does it work?
Well, the document includes a passionate quote from a current student named Caspian Wentworth.
Who notably is the headmaster's grandson.
Exactly. He fiercely defends the true heart of the school through the lens of this exact program.
Because Caspian describes how the administration actively scouts and plucks boys from what he calls the less than slightly sides of town.
These are kids who are statistically doomed to a life of subpar experiences or succumbing to local crime.
Right. Burvington swoops in, extracts them from poverty, and drops them directly into this labyrinth of luxury.
Caspian states they are handed Herculean opportunities rife with shots of new and decadent lives even they wouldn't dare dream of.
That is quite the quote.
It is. Caspian argues that the ability to take a boy with absolutely nothing and hand him golden internships, entrepreneurial miracles, and a world-class bespoke education is the true moral justification for the school's existence.
I just want you listening to imagine the profound psychological whiplash of that experience.
Oh, I must be intense.
Imagine being a teenager worrying about how your family is going to afford groceries, and suddenly you are dropped into an Elysian stone monument that smells of espresso and vodka.
Handed a bespoke black blazer.
And told you now have the internal wealth to survive an underwater kidnapping.
It's unbelievable.
How do you process that reality without completely losing your previous identity?
You likely don't. And that is the core contradiction the text asks the reader to marvel at. This raises an important question, though. Burvington is entirely self-aware of its tone deafness and elitism. But the administration truly believes that their sheer, unadulterated excellence and their willingness to bestow that excellence upon a select few lower-income boys somehow absolves them.
They really do.
They believe that to forge a true modern Renaissance man, you cannot be constrained by normal educational standards, normal safety protocols, or even normal societal fairness.
So they think true genius requires an environment completely detached from reality.
Exactly. Sprawling, isolated estate guarded by deep bogs where the stone walls groan with secrets and the glass ceilings bathe the hallways in silver moonlight.
It is a place where teenage boys in tailored suits learn ancient languages, shoot flaming arrows, smell perpetually of vodka and coffee, and systematically train their minds to withstand literal torture.
All in the obsessive pursuit of becoming a burly.
A knight armed with unbreakable internal wealth. It is terrifying, it is beautiful, and it is undeniably enticing.
And I think it leaves us with a final thought to mull over If you were offered a spot, if you could walk down those beige sandstone halls, smelling the espresso and vodka, knowing exactly what physical and mental trials awaited you, would you trade your normal life for a chance to be extraordinary, knowing it might cost you your old self entirely?
That is a heavy, fascinating question, and definitely something for all of you listening to think about the next time you smell a fresh cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the information around you, and we'll see you next time.